$21.90 made up of and quarters. If there are 170 in all, how many quarters are there? So, in this problem, we are told that there are a total of 117 coins made up of dimes and nickels, and the total value of them is $21.90. Let's represent the dimes with D and the quarters with coins, or Q. Okay. So, since there are a total of 117 coins made up of dimes and quarters, that means that D plus Q, or dimes plus quarters, is equal to 117. Now we have to write an equation for the total value of the coins. Since the dime is 10 cents, we'll write 0.10D. And since the quarter is 25 cents, we'll write 0.25Q is equal to $21.90. Now, let's look back at the first equation. We can rearrange the first equation to get the value of D, or Q. Let's get the value of D by moving Q onto the other side of the equation. If we want to move Q onto the other side of the equation, we have to subtract Q. And so these two will cancel out. But since we subtracted Q on this side of the equation, we have to do it to the other, because whatever we do on one side of the equation, we have to do it on the other. So this equation is now D is equal to 117 minus Q. Now, the first equation is now telling us that the value of D is 117 minus the value of Q. So, here we're just going to plug in 117 minus Q for D in the second equation. So, wherever we see D in the second equation, we're going to put 117 minus Q for that. So, here we have 0.10. In parentheses, I'm going to put 117 minus Q in place for D, plus 0.25Q is equal to $21.90, or 21.90. Now we have to multiply 0.10 with 117 over here, which will give us 11.7. Okay. Now we have 0.10 multiplied by negative Q, which will give us negative 0.10 Q plus 0.25Q is equal to 21.90. Here we can clearly see negative 0.10Q and positive 0.25Q are like terms, so let's add them together. Negative 0.10Q plus 0.25Q is equal to positive 0.15Q plus 11.7 is equal to 21.90. Okay, now we have to bring 11.7 onto the other side of the equation by subtracting 11.7 on both sides of the equation. So when we subtract 11.7 from here, these two will cancel out. And since we did it on this side, we have to do it on the other side, because whatever we do on one side of the equation, we have to do it to the other. Okay, let's rewrite 0.15Q is equal to, okay, 21.90 minus 11.7 is equal to 10.20. Okay. Now we have to divide 0.15 on both sides of the equation, and here it will cancel out. And the q will drop down. There's an equal sign. And we'll also have to divide 0.15 on the other side, because whatever we do on one side of the equation, we have to do it to the other. Okay. 10.20 divided by 0.15 is equal to 68. Which means that there are 68 quarters. But if we were asked how many quarters and dimes there were, all we would have to do is subtract 68 from 117. So let's do that. Here, D is for the dimes. The dimes is equal to 117 minus Q, which we already got the value, and that is 68. So D is equal to 117 minus 68, which is equal to 49. And there's the answer to this question. There are 68 quarters and 49 dimes.